Okay, so with this, basically what we did is we just mixed a lot of different materials, like rocks,
poured water on the soil, and then it eroded and made little rivers, and then you have the tributary, which is like in between the rivers, and it's almost like a little island. I wouldn't say an island, but it's where like the delta comes, and then there's two of them, and then there's land in between.
This is a destructive force.
Because
What's the destructive force?
The water.
Yeah, but what process?
it's erosion. Because as it continues to flow, it's starting to erode
The more water you put,
Yeah, because this
So
one
it would have been
this one was
black.
actually very about that amount. Depth up here, but now that since there was more water going through there, it got deeper.
And if we had erosion somewhere, what should we have somewhere else?
Deposition,
Where would be the deposition?
that would be down here.
down here.
Yeah, down here because it takes all the dirt.
It takes a lot of the
This
dirt
used to be all flat. Now it's just the water eroded into it.
What about your card?
The card is about a tree surrounded by a canyon, and the roots are showing because there must have been water, and it eroded, and the water went through it and eroded all the sand. And then
Why do you think the roots look that way?
because all the dirt, because all the water washed away, because the water washed away the dirt.
The water washed away, and now you can see the roots at the bottom of it.
Yeah, because usually that's what roots would be like.
It eroded into the tree.
Yes, because roots are usually like far down.
What happens every time it probably rains? The little bit that it rains in the desert there.
The roots show.
Do you think that tree gets a lot of water?
Maybe. Or not really.
What's going to happen to the water?
It's gonna go.
It's gonna slope
Is it going to
down.
run off the side?
Yes.
All right, good job, guys.
Like a runner.
Okay, when we put the stream down, it caused erosion because the water went down into the soil and made it clear,
And it also formed the delta in the.
which is also like a tributary.
Well, tributary is where it branches out, and you'll see like
So it's sort of like a delta because it's by a delta when it branches out into a larger body.
it drops that sediment
Yeah,
at the
drop a
bottom.
bunch of little segments. And we also have a little pond where the water started to come down. It started pushing against making erosion.
Talking about why that part was clearer than the rest, and we were thinking that that's where the most water hit, so it was getting clearer and clearer till the dirt was into the bottom.
And when the water hit the little sediments, when the water hit the dirt, it started making a mixture of mud and water.
Where did you have a constructive force and a destructive force?
The destructive force was the water pushing against the dirt,
So what process is that?
erosion. And then the constructive force was making a river. And we also had what is it called?
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. With erosion? What other process always goes hand in hand with erosion? Say it, Hannah. Deposition.
And so that's what made our delta.
Mhm.
That's what made the more sand.
Wherever you have erosion, it's going to be putting it somewhere else, and it'd be. What about your picture? What you got? Which one was yours? That was cool looking.
There was like a river there.
Looks like a castle.
And the river, and it took out one part of the rock, like right here, and the other part fell down.
And it kind of just made all the sediment.
So what probably caused that to?
Erode, like
Maybe
erosion,
rain.
like with wind.
So that'd be weathering.
Yeah, weather.
Weathering. Is there a river going through there or no?
There's like a little like slope.
Maybe at one time there was.
And there's also a little rock right here that physical weather.
Mhm.
And then there was like rain blowing some little cracks and then like the wind. And it froze. And the soil we think has different colors because the water and it was mixing the sand.
That's chemical weathering now. That's chemical.
Like the mixtures of soil and stuff bring into water.
Any minerals that are in there? Good job, guys.
So this is what we did. We first put the water in the top, and then
it eroded a little. It made a little hole right here. Then it started creating this little stream right here at the bottom. It took some extra dirt with it, and it went through this hole where we got a sample.
So what was happening to the soil there? What process was happening when it was taking the soil with it?
Erosion
It was erosion?
and deposition.
Where was deposition?
Deposition was when it put it up there.
Right. Whenever it eroded somewhere, then it's got to take it somewhere else.
It eroded this whole line. You can see this part's really high up. This used to be a rectangle. It even eroded this part to make it flat. And it deposited all this stuff to make a delta-like feature.
And you only did the water for what, 5-10 minutes, something like that?
Yeah.
Imagine doing it for hundreds and thousands of years.
It's like something like that.
And yeah, show me the pictures. Is that kind of what yours would look like?
Yeah, this is what ours look like, except
I think that's Grand Canyon, I believe. I believe so.
well, then that must be the Colorado River, and then it's called the Grand Canyon. So,
And how do we say that got there? The canyon.
well, erosion caused a lot of it to break down, and a lot of wind, water helped erosion.
So you had some weathering, you had erosion.
And then it could be, if it wasn't the river, it could have been like a glacier coming through. There's glaciers coming like that too.
All right. Good job, guys.